Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode here this evening of Banish the Doubt. In this episode, this video, I want to talk about how we can transcend our mindset to a place where everything is drawn to us that we want. That is our intention. You see, because everything is being drawn to us that we're thinking about. The thing is, the majority of our thinking is repetitive and is unconscious. It comes from our subconscious. And I read something earlier today that I think that really starts to kind of put this in perspective, that there's a shift taking place in the world. And it goes like this. 1% of the world's population controls the world. 4% of the world's population are puppets. 90% of the world's population are asleep. 5% know what's going on and are trying to wake up that 90%. But here's the thing, the 1% don't want the 5% waking up the 90%. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you've heard me talk about what happens from third trimester up through age 7 and how that ties directly into what I just read. Because think about this, and I'll just do a quick, a brief overview of what I've spoken about. If you want to find out more about that in detail, you can watch my previous videos. But think about if you're of my age, say you're north of 50 years old. Your parents most likely grew up through a world war, most likely World War II. Your grandparents were alive through World War I and World War II. Now, why do I say this? I say this in the Depression as well. And I say this because those events had such an impact on society's psyche that there was lots and lots of fear surrounded and uncertainty surrounded these world wars and the Depression, bread lines, things of that nature. So what happens is that thinking is on a repetitive nature, and it is downloaded like this computer into our psyche. That energy, though, because we are all the majority of us are energy. 90%, 50 trillion atoms or cells make up our body. Within these cells are atoms. 99.9999% of an atom is space. 0.0000001% of an atom is matter. So we are more nothing than something. And that energy then is emitted out. So the energy comes into our brain, it gets transferred into our bodies, and then that energy is emitted out. As we come into this world, that energy is transferred to us through our mother's umbilical cord. So before we're even physically on this earth, we are already downloading this information. So again, if you want to find out a little more detail about that and about the brain waves and what have you, you can watch my previous videos. The majority of the population, though, are raised in very substandard economies and situations. Only 1% really are raised in an environment where there is this uber success and uber wealth, not so much success, but wealth. And then that energy is transferred down to them. So, and then that probably leads into the rich get richer and the poor get poorer until now. Because that statistic shows that 5% of the world is starting to wake up and understanding, wait a minute, this whole competition thing, we got it all backwards. And I want to show you a quote that highlights this. And it comes from the book Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins. And he says in the book, there is one thing the world does not want us to find out, and that is the truth about ourselves. Why? Because then we will become free. We can no longer be controlled, manipulated, exploited, drained, enslaved, imprisoned, vilified, or disempowered. Therefore, the inner voyage of discovery is cloaked over with an aura of mystery and foreboding. So that quote right there summarizes exactly how you and I were brought into this world and how we identified with the world based off of our caregivers. This is how. And the quote behind me also starts to summarize this as well. It says, we don't attract into our lives what we want. We attract who we are, and who we are is nothing more than the beliefs that we carry about who we are and what we're capable of doing. So, where did we get these beliefs? And I just mentioned that where we got these beliefs were from our caregivers. So then how do we then break this chain? How do we then create a mindset that helps that circumvents or transcends this type of a mindset that we've been led to believe? So there's another quote that helps us to understand this, and it is by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was I believe, a psychiatrist. I might have that part wrong. Anyway, he was part of the Jewish concentration camps over in Germany during World War II. He wrote a very incredible book called Man's Search for Meaning. And what he said was, between a stimulus and a response, there is a space. Okay, so something happens to us, and how we react to it, between that is a space. In that space, there is a power, is our power to choose. So choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. I'll say it again. So between a stimulus and a response, there is this space right here. And within this space lies our power. Now, why would you say power? It's because 5% know what's going on in the world and are trying to wake up the 90% who are asleep. Because in this space is all the information I just talked about, everything that was downloaded into our brains, into our subconscious mind that we now operate on unconsciously. The power, though, is when we start to recognize this and we start to choose how we respond. That there unlocks our freedom, because once we are able to comprehend this and say, wait a minute, am I reacting to this? Is this the old subconscious programming reacting to this stimulus? Or is my new conscious awareness now placing my response to this, my reaction? I'm going to respond to this. And I'm going to respond to this by understanding that whoever or whatever stimulus, whatever the stimulus is nothing more than a mirror. It's reality, okay? Reflecting back to me how my inner thinking has been, what I've been thinking about, mostly unconscious. You see, because like Jesus talked about in the Bible, and by the way, again, if you watch any of my more recent videos, you'll see that I talk about this. And going back to the days of Buddha, even Buddha, 700 to 1,000 years prior to Christ, Jesus walking this earth, Buddha said, I'm not having this exact quote down, but he said in essence, who we are and how we act is based off of how we were raised. So once we start to understand, hey, I'm reacting to this versus responding, and I'm going to choose my response. In that is our power. In that, right there, that decision, that awareness is our freedom. Once we understand that nothing, nobody, no thing outside of us has any control over us, they're just reflecting back to us how we've been thinking. So this is why I said when I started this video, we can now attract to us everything that we want in this world because our whole life has been nothing more than a track record, right, of attracting to our life who we think we are, how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. This is the great awakening. This is the awareness. This is us saying, got it. I understand now. So then, if I want my world to change, to be more harmonious to exactly who I am and what I want in my world, who I want in my world, what type of things I want in my world, and there's no timeline. And I'm going to get to this in a second as an example as to exactly how this works. Then I start to become more focused and aware of how I am thinking in each moment. There's many moments in my world, in my day, that I can. So I'm walking my dog. This it was this morning. Walking my dog this morning, and walking my dog with my wife, and we happened to come across there was a dead squirrel, and she got nervous and upset. She ran across the street. Our dog and I continued on the same side of the street. I'm walking a little bit further, a couple houses down, and I look and I see, hey, there's a dollar bill there. And as I get closer, I said, no, it's 100. No, it's a 10. Oh, it's a $10 bill. Great. I pick it up. I put it in my pocket. Now, in that moment, I become aware, and I look up at the sky and I say, got it. One of my mantras is money comes to me from known and unknown sources. Money comes to me effortlessly. There it is. That is the universe saying to me, okay, here you go. Because a couple of weeks ago, when I was walking in a parking lot, I looked down and I saw this little shiny object. And as I got closer, it was silver. And I looked at it, I picked it up. I couldn't really make it out. It was kind of pretty beat up. But the more I examined it, it was a dime. Again, thank you. Another example of how money comes to me effortlessly from known and unknown sources. Put it in my pocket. So I went from a dime to $10. Now, am I going to expect the world to bring me? Well, I am in a sense because I'm affirming that this is money comes to me effortlessly, known and unknown sources. Am I going to put a timeline on when this is going to happen? No, that's the old way of thinking. We have to put timelines on things. I have to put a goal by a certain date, and no, if I don't reach the goal by a certain date, then things don't work out. I shouldn't do this. We work from the goal back. We set the goal in our mind, right? Stimulus and response. I am in this moment a millionaire, a billionaire, whatever it may be. You see, because to the universe, there is no, well, a billionaire, that kind of thinking is the old subconscious analytical brain thinking. Some of my previous videos, you may have seen me show you I use as a prop an hourglass. And the top part of the hourglass is our higher mind thinking. The middle, like on the neck, that middle part is our analytical, conditioned mind. And as the sand goes through that, what comes out down the bottom is our reality. The difference is our reality going to be what is up top in the higher mind, that sand, or is it going to be pretty much the same? Think about your day. How many times during your day are you aware, consciously in the moment, aware and thinking about what's going on or being aware in the moment? If you're, if it's 1/100th of a moment, that means the rest of your day is subconscious. Because whenever we're thinking, we're in our subconscious. When we become consciously aware, then we can make decisions based off of that moment. So I want to continue with talking about this from the book At Your Command by Neville Goddard. He says here, the awareness of being as God is stated hundreds of times in the New Testament. To name but a few, I am the shepherd. I am the door. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and the end. And again, whom do you say that I am? It is not stated, I, Jesus, am the door. I, Jesus, am the way. Nor is it said, whom do you say that I, Jesus, am? It is clearly stated, I am the way. The awareness of being is the door through which the manifestations of life pass into the world of form. Consciousness is the resurrecting power, resurrecting that which man is conscious of being. Man is ever out picturing that which he is conscious of being. This is the truth that makes man free. For man is always self-imprisoned, 90% sound asleep, or self-freed, the 5% that understand what's going on. Understand that for thousands of years, the 1%, the system, as we're hearing about today, wants to and needs to keep us imprisoned, but imprisoned here in our own thoughts. Again, going back to what I first talked about, how many of our ancestors came through these situations in life? The depression, uncertainty, fear, World War I, World War II, the industrial age. You work for the man and you just get a job and you follow along with them. There's nothing about what you want. It's all about we've got to get this engine right, restarted after the world wars. Coming through COVID now, how many of us were made fearful of what's going on in the world? So it's the person who's able to stay right, stimulus and response in that space to understand the consciousness. I am the way. I am the door. I am the light. I'm just going to repeat one more thing before I do another quote to end this video. My previous video from earlier today, I spoke about Moses in the Bible, and I spoke about in the Bible is very, it talks in ways that tries to get a message through things that are not, we don't take it, and for too long, our culture has taken the Bible literally. We don't take it literally, okay? There are parables. So Moses is a parable. Moses going up to the mountain is us meditating. The burning bush is our higher consciousness. And in the Bible it says, whom shall I say sent me? I am that I am has sent me. That's him being in his meditation. In the Bible, it states that he freed, right, the Israelites from Egypt. But Egypt is the carnal mind. The freeing is us being freed from the carnal thinking, that carnal mind thinking. The Pharaoh is trying to prevent us from leaving the carnal mind. Okay? The desert, the Jewish people, Israelites, came through the desert. The desert represents meditation. The sea are all the churning emotions inside of us. So they came upon the sea, the Red Sea, red representing emotions, all the churning emotions. The parting of the sea is us looking, as the Israelites, are us looking to the heavens. The heavens is our higher mind thinking, is our right hemisphere, looking there. And as we look there and as we focus on that and not on the emotions, the sea parts. And then we go through the promised land, which is our right hemisphere, which is the meditation, which is us staying true to what it is that we want. The parting of the seas is the parting of the old thinking, parting of the old way of acting, the reaction versus the response. The more times that we can respond to a stimulus in our life versus react, the more times that we can understand that the reaction is the old thinking, that responding is the new thinking, those emotions part, the Red Sea parts, and then we're able to go through to whatever it is that we want to be, have, or do in our life. So I guess, like I promised, I wanted to end this with a meditation, and you can listen to this from Dr. Wayne Dyer. There's a beautiful rendition of this meditation from the book, Three Magic Words, another great book to pick up. There are 12 chapters in here, and at the end of each chapter, U.S. Anderson is the author. He has a meditation. I want to end this video with this meditation. I know that I am pure spirit. I always have been, and that I always will be. There is inside of me a place of confidence and quietness and security where all things are known and understood. This is the universal mind, God, of which I am a part and which responds to me as I ask of it. Meditation. Okay? This universal mind knows the answer to all of my problems, and even now, the answers are speeding their way to me. I needn't struggle for them. I needn't worry or strive for them. When the time comes, the answers will be there. I give my problems to the great mind of God. I let go of them, confident that the correct answers will return to me when they are needed. Through the great law of attraction, everything in life that I need for my work and fulfillment will come to me. It is not necessary that I strain about this. Only believe, for in the strength of my belief, my faith will make it so. So we don't try to grind or we don't try to force anything. We have a relaxed intention that I know I keep my actions pure and my thoughts pure, that whatever it is that I want will come to me. Okay? I see the hand of divine intelligence all about me, in the flower, the tree, the brook, the meadow. I know that the intelligence that created all these things is inside of me and around me, and that I can call upon it for my slightest need. I know that my body is a manifestation of pure spirit, and that that spirit is perfect. Therefore, my body is perfect. I enjoy life, for each day brings a constant demonstration of the power and the wonder of this universal mind and myself. I am confident, I am serene, I am sure. No matter what obstacle or undesirable circumstance crosses my path, I refuse to accept it, for it is nothing but an illusion. There can be no obstacle or undesirable circumstance to the mind of God, which is in me and around me and serves me now. So the mind of God is our mind. Okay? What Jesus talked about, the kingdom of God is in you. What he meant was our mind. Right here, it's about this maybe 8-10 inches across. This is our mind. This is where we keep everything. When we replace, we understand that the old thinking is here. And this is how we're operating. This is how our life has been operating. This is why a lot of situations arise in our life. Now we understand the key to unlocking that, changing all that. And as they talked about in the Bible, the emotions, the Red Sea parting. Thank you guys so much. If you would like any work with this on a one-on-one, I'll be honored to work with you. You can go to my channel and click on the link. I'd be happy to work with you about anything going on in your life. That maybe you feel like you'll need a little help with, a little coaching. Do me a favor and respond with some maybe results you've seen already in your life. People who maybe you folks have already been subscribers to my channel, and maybe some ideas on how any other ideas that you have of videos that you would like for me to make. Um, and if you would please go ahead and share this video with others, because the more people that we can help to awaken to this, the healthier and the more prosperous we can make this world. Thank you so much, and I'll see you the next time.